Plastic bags regulations in Tanzania gain momentum, and turning the spotlight has come to NEMC to find out what the new regulations entail.
Tuna kanuni ya taka ngumu, na hii kanuni ya taka ngumu imewaelekeza hizi ofisi za serikali ya mtaa, hizi local government, wao ndo washikadau wakubwa sana wa hii kanuni. Wanatakiwa watekeleze maagizo, watekeleze ile sheria, ile kanuni kama inavyowataka, kwamba kila baada mfano wa siku 2 wanapita, wanachukua zile takataka, wanapeleka dampo au wanapeleka sehemu ya kuteketeza zile takataka.
Serikali imetupa maelekezo kwamba tuandae sehemu ambazo wananchi aidha wafanyabiashara ambayo tayari walikuwa na mifuko ile majumbani kwao, basi tuikusanye waifikishe ofisini kwetu, na zipo sehemu ambazo tumeziandaa.
Don't miss it this Thursday at 7 p.m. right here on Capital Television, your channel of choice.
In Capital News tonight, Muslims warned to stop being used to disturb peace. Landslide kills 6 with 50 missing in Uganda. TPBRC to enable professional boxers to have medical insurance. Good evening. This is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's get started with the national news. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has warned Muslims to stop being used to disturb peace in the country, but to instead build unity. Speaking during the Eid Council in Tanga region, the Prime Minister said that the government will not allow for peace to get distorted by a few individuals.
We will not allow anyone to come and rob us of this peace. We will finish prayers and everyone will carry on with whatever he has to do. This is the fruit of our togetherness.
Fatra hii tumeona kwamba itakuwa ni mwongozo mzuri sana kwa Waislamu.
This is one of the duties of Muslim Council of Tanzania, BAKWATA. If there's anything that affects the welfare of Islam that needs to be seen, it has to go through the council.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Alhaji Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has called on citizens to follow the law and respect the customs and traditions of the country. The President made this call during his Eid el-Fitr Council that was held in Zanzibar and attended by various government leaders, political parties, ambassadors, officials and citizens, where he said that following the law will ensure Zanzibar's peace and safety, as well as ensure that foreigners that enter the country follow and respect the laws of the country.
We must obey the rules governing our country so visitors can learn from us to strengthen peace and harmony. Any nation that embraces good governance has its people live in peace. In a society of different beliefs, religious and ethnic, the people of Zanzibar and Tanzanians in general have set a good example for other nations for centuries.
Watu wa Zanzibar na wa Tanzania kwa jumla. Uhusiano wa jinsia moja.
We must speak against same-sex relationship, against rape and other offenses, such as on gender violence against children witnessed in our communities. We've instructed on how to build a good family according to the law.
As Tanzania continues to celebrate World Environment Day, residents of Mtawanya Ward in Mtwara District, Mtwara region have said that they will continue to farm next to Mtawanya water source until the government compensate them for them to move from the area, as they were meant to do so but still have not been paid.
Since we've been compensated, we've no choice but to surrender, according to the law. But at the moment, there is nothing going on. That is why we are cultivating.
Sisi sote ni binadamu.
We're just human, and as the government, we can see that we did not do right in some areas. This is why we are working on compensation so that they can vacate on specified time.
Ni kwamba kweli ile eneo ni potential.
This is a potential area. Over 90% of Mtwara urban depend on this source. We produce 11,500 cubic meters per day, so you can see how crucial this area is.
A total of 7,290 villages have been connected to electricity through various projects that are being implemented in the country as part of the government's goal to ensure the energy sector contributes to the growth of the nation's economy and improves the lives of their citizens.
This should be done in rare projects on third phase and in Makambako and Songea. We have private investors who have projects on hard to reach areas. The farm is large, but the well has capacity required for irrigation. We must see how we can source for water. A lot of the youths have learned from us, and those who are capable will be employed.
Muslims in various regions of the country have celebrated Eid al-Fitr with religious and government leaders as well as the public, sharing different messages and advice on this day. The key ones urging Tanzanians to maintain peace and love amongst themselves as well as to avoid unproductive conflict.
I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the United Republic of Tanzania to commend all Muslims for the completion of the holy month of Ramadan in peace and harmony. As the person in charge of security in our country, I insist on peace. Tanzanians are known to be peaceful and up to date. We've been able to maintain that peace and can carry on with our daily activities without any problems.
Na tunafanya mambo yetu ya maendeleo bila matatizo yoyote.
Atakayoiridhia Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala bila ya kuchupa.
Let's live the kind of life we lived during fasting, where there was no discrimination on religious grounds. We must report any lawbreakers so legal measures can be taken against them.
The TANESCO branch in Kilimanjaro region has successfully impounded pieces of equipment used to pump water from the Ungwasi River in Rombo district by using power which installed without the use of power meters to avoid the payment of taxes to the government. The branch's revenue officer, Engineer Musa Ngombola, made these remarks during an exercise to investigate the theft of power in Rombo district.
In the success that TTB has enjoyed, would like to express our gratitude to various tourism stakeholders in private and public sectors, as well as other stakeholders. Some of the success we've enjoyed include large tourist groups coming from China and Israel this year. We must come up with new tourism products, and we've done our best to follow guidance given. I commend TTB and other stakeholders for coming up with Tanzania Unforgettable slogan, which has removed the belief that Tanzania is just a home for Serengeti, Ngorongoro, Kilimanjaro, and Zanzibar. But now we are able to focus on unforgettable experience that tourists will.
We apologize. That previous story was the story on the Tanzania Tourism Board successfully managing to reduce its 5.2 billion shilling debt. And now we go to the TANESCO story.
Tembelea wilaya ya Rombo kwa ajili ya general inspection.
on board to carry out general inspection. We visited one client suspected to be stealing from us. We found out that he'd been stealing. He uses illegal service line, which is costing the company big losses. He is using electricity to run his projects, yet not paying a single cent to TANESCO. The culprit will be dealt according to rules and regulations of TANESCO and the country. If the culprit is not a customer, he will be taken to court for sabotaging company's infrastructure. And if he is a customer, then he will be fined.
Residents of Chunawat in Mtwara Mkindani Municipal Mtwara Region, Rajab Selemani, who has a Standard 3 education, has created a bicycle that can move on water, which took him 1 year to create.
There are those who thought that I couldn't pull this off, but I knew I could. So I researched on it and I was able to modify it. I did this to amuse people. I never thought that he could come up with something like this because he is a carpenter. To be able to come up with something like this is unbelievable. I urge the government to foster such talent.
With 2 days remaining until the Karibu Kili Fair launch, tourism stakeholders have been urged to attend the exhibition as it is the biggest in East Africa, involving tourism stakeholders from all over the world. We have our correspondent Sebastian Koloa with more.
The biggest tourism exhibition in all over East Africa, the Karibu Kili Fair, and it is happening here in Arusha. It used to be two of them, the Karibu as well as the Kili Fair, but now it has changed. It's Karibu Kili Fair, and today is one of the days that they are still organizing the event, which is due to start on Friday the 7th to the 9th on Sunday. We spoke to one of the coordinators of the event, and he had this to say.
We have reached about 85–90% by now from the setup, and we are expecting another 350 exhibitors to arrive in the next, let's say, 48 hours to conclude. But we are done. The tents are all set up. We are finalizing sound, stage, media lounge and everything. You see the media lounge is ready, so we can go ahead. We're doing good. Basically, we have joined last year, so it's the second fair we have joined. And the major difference is that we have grown. We are much bigger. We have more than double the size in quantity on the area, as well as on exhibitors and international buyers, than Karibu Fair or Kili Fair as single standing fairs before. We have moved to Arusha now. We are in the capital city of Safari, which gives us a huge way of presenting Tanzania to the rest of the world.
Reporting from the TGT grounds here in Arusha, it's me, Sebastian Kolo of Capital TV.
And that's where we leave off with national news. We'll be right back with international news. And in international news, over 6 people have been confirmed dead and over 50 others missing following a landslide in Bududa district east of Uganda. And the Minister of Health in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as the World Health Organization, have said that over 2,000 people have been infected by the Ebola virus, with over 1,300 others dying from the disease in Kivu, northeast of Congo.
Wanasiasa wamoja wenye walicheza na hiyo malali, walifanya kampeni yao wakisema ya kwamba Ebola haiko na kwamba ni muzaa, wanataka wakadanganya raia ya Butembo.
Despite the start of the implementation of the new syllabus in Kenya, which has replaced the 8.4.41, which began to be used in 1984, the Teachers Association has stood firm that Kenya does not have the infrastructure required for the implementation of this syllabus.
There are more important things that the government needs to consider so that this syllabus can succeed. The government needs to hire more teachers and build a strong foundation. Again, the government needs to follow legal procedures before implementation of this new syllabus. Once these conditions are made, then we shall be ready to sit with the government to discuss the way forward. I promised not to take my name off the paddle, and you can take to the bank. As far as implementation of this new syllabus is concerned, you can say all you want and talk anyhow you feel like. If you can't join this move, then you should rather just go, because there is no turning back.
The government of Burundi has maintained hopes of being repaid the costs incurred during the preparations of the 20th Common Market for East and Southern Africa, COMESA, that was meant to be held in 2018 but was instead postponed.
According to the impact of that meeting, which did not take place, and bearing in mind the meeting which did take place, I would like to say that the team of delegates whose meeting failed to happen has been told to arrange another meeting with COMESA. I would like to say that we have discussed the problems that are there and also how to solve them. I must add that during our talks, we reached the agreement that we will continue with our discussions, and as COMESA, we feel that it is our duty to help Burundi.
Police training graduates in Rwanda have been urged to follow the law, be patriotic, and to fight for the interests of each Rwandan citizen. The request was made by the Minister of Legal and Constitutional Affairs, Johnson Busingye, during the graduation ceremony for police training held at Gishani Camp in Ramagana district.
I would like to say that each one of you must be patriots and abide by the laws of the country. In addition, I would like to say that you must try hard to protect the peace in the country against anyone trying to jeopardize that peace. I would like to say that these police graduates have received a sufficient level of training, and now they are ready to become members of the police force.
In Germany, where the coalition between Angela Merkel's Conservatives and the Social Democrat Party hit another bump, one party's leader while the other is struggling to say the right things. The big question is, can Angela Merkel hold on to power? And how can Europe's largest economy lead on the world stage when its government can't seem to get along? For more on this, we cross to William Glucroft in Berlin, our correspondent with Deutsche Welle. William, Angela Merkel is a well-known and still popular leader at home and abroad. Why then is her leadership in danger?
Well, that is certainly true. Angela Merkel is a highly identifiable figure. She's well liked both in Germany and especially out of Germany, as we recently saw with a big speech she gave at graduation at Harvard University. But that said, she leads a party that is not so popular in Germany, and her junior partner in the government, the Social Democrats, is even less popular. They just gave up almost half of their seats in European elections, a huge loss to them. They lost power in a state in Germany after ruling it for nearly 7 decades, and this comes after almost a year or two of both parties just going down and down in the polls, and the Greens, the Green Party, surging ever further. So Angela Merkel's still very popular. The question is, can she still hold on while the two parties The party she leads, the Conservatives, and their partner in the government, the Social Democrats, are seen as out of touch and being heavily criticized for not being stronger on policies of climate change, which is being seen after the European elections as one of their major downfalls. Both parties have admitted they didn't do enough to convince voters that they were serious about climate change, while voters are saying that is one of their top issues.
So what implications does Germany's political situation have now beyond its borders?
Well, let's just look at a major business conference that took place yesterday in Germany, which Angela Merkel attended. Major German industry were all there. They heavily criticized Angela Merkel's government for what they said was inconsistent policies and an inability for the government to set clear standards and clear wishes, which makes it hard for companies, both German companies doing business around the world and other global companies doing business in Germany, to figure out how to make business decisions when the German government hasn't been quite clear itself. And that's because the German government, the two parties, have been bickering a lot over the last year, have not been getting a lot done, have not been speaking in a single voice. There's been a lot of turbulence and serious policy disagreements between the two parties in the last year since they've agreed to this grand coalition. And that has gotten a lot of people confused at a time that the EU is facing a lot of questions, with the UK on the verge of leaving it, one of its major members. France, for example, the president, Emmanuel Macron, has some big-time, serious reform proposals to make the EU stronger, more centralized, but France can't act alone. It needs another major power, that being Germany, to work with it, to discuss, to negotiate, to figure out what is the path forward for the European Union. Not only within itself, within its soon-to-be 27 members, or likely 27 members, but also how it acts as a single voice on the world stage. So the German government is just not speaking with one voice. That makes it very hard to lead. It also gives it serious credibility issues, which makes it very hard to govern.
So what now? Walk us through what the possible outcomes could be.
Well, the Social Democrats, with its party leader stepping down this week after a dismal performance in European elections, a job, by the way, she only held for about 14 months, they obviously need to elect new leadership, and it can't just be any leadership. It needs to be leadership that really delivers on this promise the party has been making to redefine itself, to reconnect with voters and set a new path forward, re-identify itself with voters. That's what the Social Democrats need to do. The CDU, Angela Merkel has been promising she's going to stay in power through the end of her term, which goes through 2021. This government has faced a lot of threats and risk of collapsing in the last year. What could happen, of course, both parties are saying they're committed to staying in the government, committed to keeping this government going. Either party, of course, could go against that, drop out of the party. That would force Angela Merkel to decide whether to go into a minority government, whether to try to form a new coalition. There could even be a vote of confidence in the German parliament, which if she lost, that could force new elections. And that's when things get really interesting, because both the Social Democrats and even Angela Merkel's own Conservative Party have dropped so far in the polls that the Greens, in a recent poll, are now surging to the front of the pack for the first time in German history, which would really shake things up in a political spectrum that has long been dominated by the Conservatives and the Social Democrats. So things are very much in flux here in Germany, which has a lot of ripple effects beyond Germany, throughout the EU, and all around the world.
Thank you very much, William, for that insight. And that special report ends our international news, but do stay with us. We'll be back with sports after this break.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda. What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip hop, a hip it, the hip it, hip hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette. I'm watching Sport Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
with Sebastian.
With Sebastian.
Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and in sports. The Tanzania Professional Boxing Regulatory Commission, TPBRC, is in talks with the National Health Insurance Fund, NHIF, so as to enable professional boxers to have access to health care. This is a part of an implementation of the government directive to get all promoters to have insurance so that they can receive health care at affordable costs.
I can't say directly that promoters should ensure that their boxers have health insurance during their encounters. The aim is that all boxers, just like any other citizen, must have health insurance. Thus, all professional boxers with licenses must have health insurance. Right now, we're working with the National Insurance Fund, NHIF, in arranging processes that every professional boxer in the country is joining the fund.
A visit by the Special Olympic Committee in Kasulu and Kibondo district in Kigoma region has been highly successful following the education provided to parents of children with mental disabilities.
Wow.
We have given them community education and enlightened their responsibilities, as well as providing them with sports gears for them to be physically and mentally fit. At the camp, there are refugees from Congo and Burundi.
Tottenham midfielder Christian Eriksen has said that he might want to try something new following speculation about his future at the club. Here's more.
Eriksen, who has been linked with a move to Real Madrid, has 1 year left on his deal with the Premier League club and is yet to commit to a new one. However, the Denmark international has not ruled out a contract extension, saying it depends on the conditions. If I have to go, then hopefully it will be a step up.
Real Madrid forward James Rodriguez is to leave Bayern Munich when his loan finishes, after asking the German club not to take up their option to buy him.
International Rodriguez, 27, has spent 2 seasons at Bayern, scoring 15 goals in 67 games. He has won the Bundesliga twice as well as the German Cup with Bayern. Rodriguez, Golden Boot winner at the 2014 World Cup, joined Real from Monaco for £71 million that summer and has a contract at the Spanish club until 2021.
British heavyweight Anthony Joshua says he has no excuses for his shocking defeat by Andy Ruiz Jr., in which he lost his IBF, WO and WBA world titles.
The loss in New York was the first of Joshua's 23-fight professional career, and he has dismissed suggestions anything was wrong with him. "I had no panic attack," the 29-year-old said in a video posted online on Wednesday. "I have to take my loss like a man, no blaming anyone or anything."
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. On behalf of everyone who worked to prepare this bulletin for you, my name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and have a good night.